A celebration overtakes the streets of Seattle.
They're like seeing it through my eyes, and I love it.
A show of solidarity, love, and acceptance.
We had no idea it was going to go this far.
In the face of hate and attacks targeting the LGBT community.
Tonight, we are taking a look at the fight for equality.
It's not illegal to be gay.
The progress that still needs to be made.
Sorry, haters. You didn't win this one.
And the efforts to bring us all closer together. That and more as KIRO 7 presents Your Voices Celebrates Pride. All right, everybody, it is that time of year again. Seattle's Pride Parade takes to the streets of downtown Seattle for the 49th time. Thank you for joining us. I'm Monique Ming-Lavin.
And I'm Aaron Wright. This year's event is Galactic Love, and it has proved that this year won't be one to forget. Organizers estimate about 300,000 people packed the streets of Seattle this weekend. Not bad for an event that started with less than 200 people back in 1974. And as you can imagine, putting on the Pride Parade is no easy task, but Seattle Pride is not just keeping an eye on this event, but the future of events like Seattle Pride for years to come.
KIRO 7's Niku Kazori sat down with the Seattle Pride intern to learn about their role in putting all this together and what it means going forward.
Seattle Pride has partnered with the Seattle LGBTQ Center to create an internship strictly for LGBTQ youth to feel empowered, make a difference, and create safe spaces.
We hired 4 LGBTQ young people, and then we brought them in and we told them about Seattle Pride's kickoff to Pride Month event, Pride in the Park. We gave them a space allocation and said, you have approximately this square footage and you have this much money.
For Seattle Pride intern B. Jackson, growing up in Yelm without a resource like Seattle Pride and making a difference in other youth's lives was the driving force for Jackson to apply.
In this time frame, the youth, especially in our community, need to know that they have a space that's loving and supportive and is fostering happiness for them.
In just 6 weeks, the 4 Seattle Pride interns collaborated on ideas for Pride in the Park. They created a youth discussion circle and even a magazine with resources for fellow LGBTQ youth.
They really were leaders in this process and they were empowered to be leaders. So it was cool to get out of the way and let young people do the work that they know needs to happen.
Pride in the Park was Seattle Pride's largest event with over 10,000 attendees. An event B will hold near to their heart, knowing they had a significant impact on other youth in the LGBTQ community.
It makes me a little emotional because I know it's possible, and I know that kids here in Seattle are getting so much love, and it's also a way to be able to maybe take it home with me at some point to Yelm and foster another Pride event.
In Seattle, Niku Kazori, KIRO 7 News.
Well, organizers say they hope Pride provides an opportunity to really celebrate the present, also envision the future, and of course, honor the past.
And it is amazing just to see how far we have all come. December 2012, KIRO 7 was at Seattle City Hall as dozens of same-sex couples lined up to tie the knot legally for the first time in Washington. It's a right that was pushed back 10 months after opponents rallied against the new law signed by Governor Christine Gregoire, forcing a November referendum. That vote would pass by 7.4%, meaning these couples could finally walk down the aisle together.
I'm sorry, I'm so happy.
I now pronounce you married.
So it was important for me to get married today, 18 years later.
18 years later. Well, since then, thousands of same-sex couples have taken the plunge. According to the U.S. Census, the state of Washington has more than 21,000 married same-sex couples. But in the years since, we have also seen the community face threats and harassment.
And this year, things got so bad, Target even stopped selling Pride-themed products to prevent staff from being harassed. This week's Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson actually offered to help the company out. He, along with 14 others, Attorney General, are asking the company to continue to sell the products and to reach out to their offices to help prosecute any harassment.
But it's not just Target feeling the harassment. Take a look right here. This is a pair of vandals caught on camera destroying a family's fence, and it's actually painted with the message, "Love thy neighbor." For the last 9 months, an Auburn family says hate-fueled attacks like this have become a constant in their lives. And they believe their pride flags have made them a target. We're told they've also seen spray-painted swastikas, destruction of property, even explosive launched near their bedroom windows.
As KIRO 7's Gwen Baumgartner reports, the attacks have cost the homeowners thousands of dollars and several sleepless nights.
For this Auburn home, hate comes in the form of explosives and expletives.
It's not directed just at the fence, right? They're trying to intimidate us.
Ed Brabant says his family has become the target of at least half a dozen hate crimes, all because they chose to put their pride on display for their non-binary child and their community.
There's other ways to use your time.
First, it was just a flag on their front porch, but it was repeatedly torn down.
We probably went through 20 flags, right, in the first year. It was just ridiculous.
So they moved the flag here.
And you can't steal a fence, right? I literally said that to my partner.
But the crimes escalated from vandalism like this to mortars and Roman candles launched at their home on multiple nights. And surveillance video shows it's not just one person spewing this hate, there are several.
These are obviously people who are fearful of change in their world view and don't know any other way to speak out. And all I can wish for them is maybe some counseling and, reflection on who they are as people.
The family fears for their safety, but says they and their fence aren't going anywhere.
We had no idea it was going to go this far, right? And again, we can't back down because it's now more than us.
And that was KIRO 7's Gwen Baumgartner reporting. Now, under state statute, what's being done in this case is very clearly a hate crime. The FBI is taking on this case, but no arrests have been made.
Now the family is trying to update their security and their fence as they brace for more attacks. Meanwhile, the city of Carnation is asking the feds to get involved after someone tore down multiple pride flags, damaging businesses in the process. Of the 16 flags displayed across the city for Pride Month, 14 were missing. This week, the mayor said the city would be working with local and state authorities to prosecute the people responsible to the fullest extent of the law.
We're not just going to sit back and go, whatever. Our town's going to fight back because our town values everyone in this town.
I mean, there's idiots everywhere, and I'm not really focusing on that action because what really happened that's really beautiful is within a matter of a couple of hours.
Now, the response he's talking about, all the flags ripped down were replaced in a matter of hours, but 3 days later, KIRO 7 learned these storefronts were targeted once again. The founder of Snow Valley Pride tells us he plans on taking down the flags at night for the rest of the month to prevent another incident. Well, unfortunately for some in the community, just being yourself can land a target on your back.
Yeah, KIRO 7's Nico Kazori is back now with the drag queen and king to talk about the struggles they are facing off the stage and the impact one local venue is having on the art form.
I feel like that is just the best thing in the world, to be able to remove people's problems, even if it's just for that 3 minutes that you're out there.
Behind all the glitz, glamour, sparkles, and shine is the art of drag. Julia's on Broadway has been hosting performances for over 2 decades. According to owner Eladio Preciado, they're the longest running show in Washington history.
The secret sauce I'm never going to tell, but the secret is you look at what people, you listen to what people are what they want. And then from that you create. I'm very creative and I want to hear what you like. And what is it that entertains you? And then from that, I'm going to create something that targets my customer base.
But drag, although seems to put smiles on faces and entertain, is not always glamorous.
Whenever you're having people go out there day-to-day in their day-to-day lives, just wearing makeup, wearing etc., and then you have everyone wanting to attack that individual, these people and these trans individuals, non-binary individuals, are just trying to be themselves.
We're not doing anything different than what you would see on TV or music videos, and I feel like we dial it down. We could be like up with them, but we're not.
Versace doll and Caesar suggest coming to a performance first, then making your own decision. They stress the opposition against the drag community is heartbreaking and dangerous.
The ban on drag is just leading to a ban on, you know, trans people shouldn't be around children, trans people shouldn't adopt, all of these things. And it just needs to change. It's not right, and it's gonna change because trans women have been here forever, people of color have been here forever, drag kings have been here forever, and we're not going anywhere.
Continuing to be themselves regardless of the pushback. The freedom of not hiding who you are and bringing awareness to LGBTQIA rights is what keeps Versace doll and Caesar going. Their safe space at Julia's makes that happen.
When I created this, I thought, I'm going to create something that's just going to be fun for me. It's going to be a toy, basically. And then one day I realized I've created something that I didn't even think I could do. And what it is it's a magical place with magical people, and we create happiness.
Niku Kazori, KIRO 7 News.
Well, we saw a Pride pushback in the North Sound recently. During an Arlington City Council meeting, a local resident shared her and her Facebook group's concerns about drag performances planned a month from today. The right-wing group claims drag events typically engage in sexually explicit conduct, attire, and exotic performances, and kids should not be forced to see that. But others in the community disagree, saying it is the parents' job to monitor their kids.
This activity is reserved for adults 18 and over per the Washington RCWs and should be restricted to adult clubs only. What is to prevent that these actions won't occur here at Camp Pride? Who's in control of that?
They're part of our community. If you're worried about what your kids are going to see, be a parent. Decide what your kids can see. Teach them whether something is right or wrong. But it's not our place to be morality police.
Well, last month, the city requested Arlington Pride pay for security and insurance, but then dropped it. The group is now providing security through its own members.
Still to come, making history in Seattle with a little Disney magic. We're going behind the scenes with the Seattle Men's Chorus about their experience many are calling a dream come true.
Plus, one group is looking to fight hate with laughter, the impact they're making on members of the Black trans community.
But first, pushing back against Pride, we're digging into the anti-LGBTQ legislation that's causing a ripple effect across the country. Thousands of people packed the streets of downtown Seattle this afternoon to celebrate Seattle Pride. This marked the 49th time people marched down 4th Avenue in a community-wide celebration advancing awareness of LGBTQIA+ issues while promoting mutual respect of human rights for all. But Seattle Pride is going to be the first to admit that achieving equal rights for everyone requires a lot more than throwing parades and hosting picnics.
Yeah, this year we have seen a lot of Pride pushback across the country. It has many in the LGBTQ community feeling under attack.
I have to confirm, are there any children in the audience?
Well, in Florida, a new state law is prohibiting nearly all drag shows where children might be present. As a result, performances have moved inside. And in the town of St. Cloud, festivities had to be canceled after someone hacked a traffic sign displaying the message, "Kill all gays."
With the government passing legislation that kind of gives people the right to discriminate even more.
Fuels the fire,
yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Some of that pushback has gotten more and more hostile this year. In California, a book reading about different kinds of families resulted in pushing and shoving.
According to the ACLU, more than 70 bills across the country were passed into law, ranging from limiting access to health care to prohibiting trans students from participating in school activities to limiting access to books. While it never made it to the state legislature, we've seen local school boards discuss banning certain books here in Western Washington. Last year, there was the Kent School Board debating over a ban over a book with a gay character that some parents called too explicit for a middle school library.
Drenched with pornography, and where it should be located is an adult section of a bookstore.
It's unacceptable to send the message to queer youth that they can be represented only if they are the right kind of gay.
In this case, the Kent School Board voted to overturn the district's ban. Now, Washington is not immune to local politicians targeting the LGBT community.
Yeah, just earlier this month, we saw a planning commissioner with the city of Sammamish step down after making hateful comments during a public meeting. Wasim Fayed resigned following his comments, and we're going to share some of his remarks, but we want to warn viewers what he said, how he said it could be disturbing.
These are not a minority people who are disenfranchised. These are people that are promoting diseases and infestation to promote this in every movie, in every TV show, everywhere, teaching our kids and poisoning our kids with this. I don't believe this is the right thing to do.
The city's communications manager said Fayed offered his resignation to Callie Clark, the first openly LGBTQ mayor of Sammamish, and she accepted it. The city issued a statement that reads in part, "While we acknowledge the commissioner's right to free speech, we were shocked to hear the comments made and strongly condemn them. The city of Sammamish is committed to fostering a welcoming and inclusive environment where hate has no place."
So it's instances like this that has one local group looking to fight hate with laughter. The Black Trans Comedy Showcase is looking to create a safe place where people can come together, laugh, experience joy, and raise money for the Lavender Rights Project.
Yeah, members of the organization say sat down with KIRO 7's Niku Kazuri to lay out why their mission is so important for the trans community.
It is important that we get together as community.
Among the many LGBTQ+ groups and organizations, the Lavender Rights Project stands out as an organization dedicated to fighting for the rights of the Black trans community and the problems they face.
We're literally fighting society and the government at this point as trans people, but that's not who we are, right? We are at this dangerous intersection where we are being harmed, where our community is at risk, also not who we are. We are the creators of culture. We are the culture keepers in many of our societies, including in Black community.
Protecting rights and empowering the trans community with services and advocacy is the goal for Lavender Rights Project, while leaving showgoers with a better sense of the struggles the community faces.
We face a lot of anti-trans legislation left and right, and we really didn't want to center that this year or last year even. We really wanted this to be, again, the center of happiness, center of comedy, bring it back to our home field, you know, like Blackness is, we created roasting, you know, so we wanted to bring that element to this showcase, to Pride.
Better understanding, raising voices for justice, and support for the Black trans community is what Lavender Rights Project is hoping to accomplish not only this Pride Month, but every day and years to come.
We need people to show up in support of us and be as loud as those other voices and let people know that we value LGBTQ people, that we value transgender people, and all that they bring to all of our societies and all that they bring to our culture.
In Seattle, Niku Kazuri, KIRO 7 News.
The Seattle Men's Choir has teamed up with Disney, and we are taking you behind the scenes of the historic partnership that has some performers coming full circle.
Well, a big shout out to Team Trans Hockey. They were one of the big winners at the Seattle Pride Classic 2023. This year's tournament was the largest to date.
The tournament was held at the Community Iceplex, and it gives the LGBTQ+ community a space to enjoy the sport. Team Trans is made up entirely of trans, non-binary, and genderqueer individuals. This is the third annual tournament and the second one at the Kraken's practice facility.
We started this event in 2021 with 4 teams and 56 participants, and we stand here today at the Kraken Iceplex with 260 total participants, 18 teams. We have 4 professional players out there playing with everyone, so it's really remarkable.
And you can check out more from the tournament at KIRO7.com. Making history right here in Seattle with the help of some Disney magic. This year marks the first time the Seattle Men's Chorus is teaming up with Disney.
Yeah, and Niku sat down with the artistic director who describes this opportunity as a dream come true for the LGBTQ community.
For the first time, Disney will be partnering up with the Seattle Men's Chorus to bring Disney Pride in concert to the historic Paramount Theater.
The goal is to celebrate who we are as LGBTQ people. And being able to do that through the most popular songs that we all grew up with the characters who we identified as we were coming of age as people, that's a really special experience.
For some, that connection to Disney started early on, and performing in this concert feels like they've come full circle.
When I think it was 4th grade, I forced my entire family to sit on a patio with me while I did every part of Your World from memory perfectly with my 2 younger cousins who couldn't do it, but I was like, come on, you're my backup. So, you don't know how Disney touches your life until you get back around the horn and something like this happens.
Till we find
Seattle Men's Chorus Artistic Director Paul Caldwell says the Men's Chorus is all about sharing happiness, love, excitement, and joy. He describes directing Pride Disney as an unbelievable dream come true.
It's really humbling and also kind of unbelievable. I mean, it's a Pride show, right? And I grew up as a gay kid in the rural South, and the idea that Disney would one day say, we need to celebrate Pride, and we need to do it with gay choruses, like that, it was unthinkable, right?
Overcoming obstacles, barriers, and difficulties while staying positive and spreading joy. That's what Caldwell says LGBTQ people identify with the most with Disney's stories, characters, and music.
When you have a cast of over 200 LGBTQ performers standing on stage, joining hearts and hands and voices to make the world a more beautiful place. I mean, that's what Pride is all about.
Look at me.
In Seattle, Niku Kazori, KIRO 7 News.
Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. Have a good and proud night.
And remember, as Pride Month wraps up, we'll continue promoting diversity, acceptance, and inclusivity all year round.
KIRO 7 News is live, local, in-depth, 24/7. Log on to KIRO7.com and download the KIRO 7 News and Weather apps.